New York City, the world's largest financial center with a GDP exceeding $2 trillion, is a place where millions dream of setting foot in pursuit of the American dream. But perhaps that dream will forever remain just that, a dream, once you arrive and witness more than 140,000 people with no home to return to, and that shining vision begins to shatter. New York is a city that never sleeps yet. Not everyone has a place to sleep. And even for those who do, peace is not guaranteed. The name, the city that never sleeps, once defined by energy, opportunity, and constant motion, now carries a new, darker meaning. No home means no safe refuge. No bed, no mattress means no restful sleep. Today, New York has become a city of contradictions. Here, billion-dollar penthouses rise above subway tunnels, where the homeless take shelter from hunger and cold. Lavish Michelin-starred restaurants share the same streets as charity kitchens feeding the desperate. This contrast doesn't just reflect a deepening income divide. It forces a painful question. How did the world's symbol of opportunity become a mirror of inequality so stark it borders on surreal? How can a city so wealthy still leave so many without a roof over their heads? To answer this question, we must first understand how severe this crisis has become, and what these numbers reveal about a city where survival itself has become a privilege. The stark reality: a city divided by homelessness.
Homelessness in New York City is very hard. You have to be a seasoned individual to make it through these streets. Because if you're not seasoned, if you're not tough, if you don't have it in you to make it to sleep in the streets at night, then the streets will eat you up immediately, and you will succumb to drugs.
The homelessness crisis in New York City stands as one of the most striking contradictions to its reputation as a land of endless opportunity. In January 2024, around 140,000 people were recorded as homeless, nearly 1 in 4 of the entire nation's unhoused population. This marks a staggering 53% increase from 2023, far outpacing the national rise of 18%. On any given night, more than 110,000 men, women, and children, including many recent migrants, crowd into city shelters, while an estimated 200,000 others live in what experts call hidden homelessness, sleeping on couches or staying temporarily with others. The true scale of this emergency is likely far greater, with thousands slipping through the cracks, finding shelter in subways, parks, and abandoned buildings. By March 2025, it's projected that over 350,000 New Yorkers will be without a home.
You'll be a drug addict. You'll be nothing but a drug addict, a prostitute. You'll be messed up in these streets. They will eat you alive. So you have to be strong.
For roughly 4,000 people living unsheltered on the streets every day is a fight to survive, battling bitter winters, violence, and hunger. The tragedy of a 2025 incident in which a homeless individual was fatally crushed inside a dumpster served as a heartbreaking reminder of the lethal risks faced by those society overlooks. Shelters meant to be places of safety have become overcrowded, unsanitary, and often dangerous, driving many to choose the streets over confinement. The life expectancy of a homeless New Yorker is 3 decades shorter than the city's average, a chilling measure of the human cost of life on the margins. This crisis is not limited to a few impoverished blocks. It is spreading across all 5 boroughs. During 2023-2024, more than 146,000 students in New York experienced homelessness, with the Bronx alone seeing 1 in 6 children without stable housing. As rent prices soar to unprecedented levels, experts warn that homelessness could surge another 20 to 30% by 2030 as working-class families find themselves unable to keep pace with the cost of living. The dividing line between security and despair has never been thinner. And so the question echoes louder than ever. Are any of us truly more than one paycheck away from the streets? Who is at risk? When we say people who become homeless, too often the narrative defaults to those who chose it or those who failed. But in reality, risk is spread, and some groups face far greater vulnerabilities. First, older adults living on fixed incomes. Suppose you're retired, relying on a pension or Social Security living in New York City. Your rent increases, your healthcare costs climb. You may not have the energy or earning potential to bounce back if you lose your housing. These individuals are quietly building vulnerability in a city where being stable one day doesn't guarantee stability the next. The risk of becoming part of the homeless in America count looms. Next, people who work 1 or 2 jobs and yet still cannot make ends meet. The working poor, the essential worker, the caregiver, the person juggling shifts. They may not seem vulnerable, but in the face of rent hikes, job loss, illness, or unforeseen costs, they can slip. When your housing cost is more than half your income, the margin disappears. These folks are at real risk of becoming homeless, alongside those we usually think of. Third, when the economy slows, job security erodes, unemployment rises, the ripple effect is enormous. A worker loses 1 job, shifts to part-time, the rent increases, the buffer disappears. Because in a high-cost city like New York, you don't have room to absorb a shock. This means that homeless in America is not isolated to a tiny corner. It's an expanding reality that touches more of us than we want to admit. In short, the risk is highest among people on fixed incomes, especially older adults, those whose incomes are low or moderate, but housing costs are high, and those vulnerable to job loss or economic downturns. These groups are not the other. They are closer to us than we often believe. The question now becomes, what drives this vulnerability? Why is the system failing so many? Which leads us to the root causes. The root causes of homelessness. To understand how the situation in New York developed and why it persists, we must move beyond simplistic judgments and look at the complex interlocking drivers. One of the largest factors, the skyrocketing cost of housing and the shortage of affordable units. New York City's vacancy rate for affordable housing is historically low. Rents continue to rise and incomes for many do not keep pace. When housing consumes too much of a family's or an individual's income, any additional stress, job loss, illness, eviction can lead to immediate crisis. The shortage of affordable housing is one of the most structural elements driving homelessness here and across the U.S. Another major driver, the high cost of living and unstable economic conditions. Even when people are employed, the cost of utilities, food, healthcare, transit, and taxes leaves less margin for housing stability. Combine that with unpredictable work hours or layoffs, and you get a system where people are always just one setback away from becoming part of the homeless in America statistic. Then there are mental health, and substance use issues. Some people experiencing homelessness struggle with chronic illness or mental health challenges. The presence of these issues does not mean homelessness is their fault, but when the social support system is weak, these conditions can push someone from marginal stability into full homelessness and keep them there. The support systems for mental health, addiction, job retraining, and reentry often don't scale to the need. These causes do not function independently, they are interwoven. Someone loses a job, cannot pay rent, moves into a shelter, loses continuity of employment, faces mental health strain. The city's policies, the economy's ups and downs, international migration pressures, shifts in law and housing regulation, each plays a role. Homelessness is not simply an individual failure. It is a symptom of a system under stress. But that begs the question, what is being done about it? And is it working? Social safety net policies and their shortcomings. New York City's social safety net, though vast and ambitious, is riddled with cracks, gaps wide enough for thousands to fall through, reflecting the broader struggle of homeless in America. At its core is the right to shelter policy established in 1981, guaranteeing every person a bed for the night. It remains one of the strongest systems in the nation, housing about 97% of the city's homeless population, compared to only 30% in Los Angeles. By 2025, this policy provides shelter to more than 110,000 people nightly across 200 facilities, including repurposed hotels and offices. But even this well-intentioned system is straining under immense pressure. Many shelters are overcrowded, unsafe, and unsanitary, turning what should be refuge into despair. Instead of offering stability, they've become symbols of a city struggling to keep pace with an escalating crisis. The City FEP's voucher program, expanded in 2023, aims to prevent evictions and help families move into permanent housing. By adjusting voucher values to match market rents, it has helped over 18,000 households since 2022. Yet more than 10,000 eligible families still can't use them due to a shortage of cooperative landlords and tangled bureaucracy. Local Law 19 requires that 15% of new subsidized housing be reserved for homeless residents. But in 2021, only 1,552 units were delivered, with fewer than 500 outside supportive housing, far below what's needed. At the state level, Governor Kathy Hochul's $25 billion 5-year housing plan seeks to create 100,000 affordable homes, but slow progress and limited transparency have dampened optimism. The proposed 485X program, meant to replace the expired 421A tax incentive, could revive construction, yet developers hesitate due to rising costs and low profit margins. Federally, HUD's $3.6 billion investment in 2023 barely dents the 6.3 million unit national housing shortage. It's a fraction of what's required to confront the growing reality of homeless in America, leaving cities like New York to bear the weight alone. Despite its strengths, New York's safety net falters under chronic underfunding and misplaced priorities. The city spends $180 per night to house someone in a shelter, $383 for a hotel room, but only $72 for permanent housing under city FEPs, a clear imbalance that perpetuates emergency fixes instead of long-term solutions. The question remains, how long can we keep pouring billions into temporary relief while families, veterans, and children remain trapped not just in the streets of New York, but in the ongoing story of homeless in America? Government response and its effectiveness. In New York, the government has enacted policies aimed at addressing homelessness and housing instability. The city's right to shelter law guarantees that anyone who needs shelter is entitled to it. This is rare in the American context and speaks to the scale of the problem in the city. There are programs to build affordable housing to transition people, from shelters to permanent supportive housing and to offer tenant protections. Yet the effectiveness of these policies is hotly debated. Yes, millions of dollars flow into the system, but the question is this translating into fewer people sleeping on the streets, fewer families doubling up, fewer people caught in the cycle of homelessness? Many advocates say no. For instance, despite large expenditures, the number of households escaping homelessness remains too low compared to those entering. The result, the queue for permanent supportive housing is long. Many remain in shelters, and many more are in uncounted situations of housing instability. Furthermore, the clarity of investment is troubling. When tens of thousands of people enter shelters and many more remain unstably housed, we must ask, where did the money go? A lack of transparency, slow construction of affordable housing units, and policy shifts tied to political cycles mean the system is reactive rather than proactive. Some programs identify temporary relief, but not durable solutions. A proper solution, advocates argue, must focus not only on managing the crisis, but preventing it. Programs that help tenants avoid eviction supports for mental health, proactive job training, well-funded, affordable housing production, all these must ramp up. And we must ask, will New York's leaders rise to the occasion? Because at the moment, the data show the crisis as deepening, not easing. Is it getting better or worse? If you were hoping for relief in the numbers, the data tell a sobering story. The 18% rise in homelessness nationally from 2023 to 2024 is the worst single-year jump on record. In New York, the rate surged dramatically, some reports suggesting a 53% increase in certain populations in 2024. The core of the rise lies in the city itself. The majority of the state's increase stems from NYC. Given the upward trend, many experts believe the number of people experiencing homelessness in New York is likely to increase further unless there is a structural intervention. When we say homeless in America, we often think of particular groups, but this is increasingly a broader systemic issue, and every layer of society is vulnerable. For someone earning a modest income, even average, the added pressure of increased rents, job instability, health costs, inflation makes the margin razor thin. The risk of slipping into homelessness is no longer only about being extremely poor, it is about being just one shock away from instability. And so the truth becomes clear: the cities of the most homeless are not fringe cases. They are warning signs for what could become the new normal. For New York, the future is not guaranteed to improve. Unless major changes occur, the gap between the wealthy towers and the street can only get wider. What does all this say about our city, and what can we do? When we look at New York through the lens of homelessness, we see a city of stark contrasts. On one hand, we have wealth, success, global influence. On the other hand, we have thousands of people without safe shelter, without stability. The phrase "two worlds in one city" is no metaphor here, it is the lived reality. This is one of the true cities of the most homeless, and the fact that such a major urban center is grappling with this scale of crisis forces a reckoning for all of us. What it says about our society is this: when housing becomes a luxury rather than a right, when wages don't keep pace with costs, when we treat homelessness as individual failure, Instead of systemic failure, we create a scenario where more people are at risk of falling through the cracks. It's a warning for everyone: the safety net is only as strong as its weakest link. Hunger for home, for stability is universal. The phrase homeless in America might suggest them over there, but the truth is, the line between secure and insecure housing is thinner than many assume. And so I ask you, the viewer, will you stay silent in the face of this crisis? Will you accept that somewhere else this happens? Or will you recognize that this crisis is closer than you think, and that we all carry responsibility to change it? Share this video talk to your community advocate for affordable housing support organizations, helping those who are currently homeless. Because when one person finds stability, when one family is kept from eviction, when one older adult near the edge of poverty is helped to stay housed, you still move the needle. As the skyline of New York rises, so too must our commitment to the people underneath it, people living without home, searching for their place. Two worlds, one city. The price of survival in New York is high, but the price of ignoring it is even higher.